təşəkkür etmək istəyirəm bu görüşün təşkilatçılarına, Avropa Parlamentin deputatlarına. Bizim üçün çox maraqlıdır və çox vacibdir Azərbaycanın gələcəyi üçün Avropa ölkələri ilə həm ikitərəfli, həm çoxtərəfli münasibətlərin daha inkişaf etdirilməsi istiqamətində aparılan işlər. Mən bunu təbii ki, bizim üçün çox yüksək və vacib olan bir dəyər kimi dəyərləndirir. Mən Azərbaycan Respublikasının Dağlıq Qarabağ bölgəsinin Azərbaycanlı icmasının idarə heyətinin üzvüyəm və mənim üçün çox maraqlıdır bizim icmamızın mövqeyini sizlərə çatdıran. Burada çıxış edənlər fikirləri ilə mən tam razıyam ki, Azərbaycan Avropa İttifaqı ölkələri ilə həm ikitərəfli, həm çoxtərəfli iqtisadi münasibətlərin qurulmasında və xüsusilə də enerji, Avropanın enerji təhlükəsizliyində xüsusi rol oynayır və Avropa Azərbaycan üçün ən geniş iqtisadi bir bazardır və Azərbaycanın böyük bu imkanları Azərbaycanın bugünkü və gələcəyi üçün çox vacibdir. Eyni zamanda qeyd eləməliyəm ki, Azərbaycan bu istiqamətdə Gürcüstanla, Cənubi Qafqaz regionuna biz nəzər salsaq, Gürcüstanla çox sıx əlaqədədir və düşünürəm ki, bu geografi məkan biraz da genişləndirilə bilər. Yəqin ki, gələcəkdə bu belə də olacaq. Bunun səbəbi bir dənədir, ona görə ki, Ermənistan Azərbaycan ərazisini işğal edib və bu işğal siyasəti büyünə qədər davam etdirilir və biz Dağlıq Qarabağ Azərbaycanlılara qarşı etnik təmizləmə siyasəti həyata keçirilibdir və təbii ki, biz bu cür problemli halları yaddan çıxartmamalıyıq, bu bizim tariximizdir. Hər iki tərəf böyük itkilər veribdir. Amma biz qabağa baxmalıyıq, biz düşünməliyik ki, biz bugünkü gəncliyə nə verə bilirik, gələcək gəncliyimizə nə vəd verə bilərik və bizim ümumiyyətlə regionumuzun gələcəyi nə cür inkişaf edəcək. Təşəkkür etmək istəyirəm Meteo Braizeyə, onun mövqeyindən görə və dəstəkləyirəm bu mövqeyi. Təəssüf olsun ki, həqiqətən də Azərbaycanlılarla ermənilər arasında böyük bir problemli dönəm yaşanıbdır və bu münasibətləri bərpa etmək bizim üçün çox vacibdir. Dağlıq Qarabağ Azərbaycanlı icması uzun illərdir Dağlıq Qarabağ erməni icması ilə diyaloq axtarışındadır. Təəssüf olsun ki, biz qarşı tərəfdən heç bir müsbət mesaj görə bilmirik. Mən inanıram ki, sizin dəstəyinizlə biz bunu edə biləcəyik. Çox ağırlı günlər biz yaşadıq. 2016-cı ilin aprel ayında təmas xəttində bir atəşkəs pozuldu və hər iki tərəf yenə də çox böyük itkilərdir. Biz Azərbaycanda oturduq, düşündük və biz nə edə bilərik ki, biz daha da uğurlu bir dünya ictimaiyyətinə mesaj verək, daha da tez bir problemlə həllində hər hansısa bir rol oynaya bilək və münasibətləri axtararkən 3 erməni əsilli insan Azərbaycana dəvət olundu və biz Bakıda keçən il 2016-cı ilin noyabr ayında bir konferans keçirdik və sülh platforması, Azərbaycan-Ermənistan sülh platforması yaratdıq. Və düşünürük ki, biz bu itirilmiş münasibətləri nə qədər tez bərpa edə bilsək, bir o qədər tez və danışıqlar prosesi, Minsk çərçivəsində aparılan danışıqlar prosesinə hər hansısa bir müsbət impuls verə bilərik, insanlar arasında münasibətlər bərpa olunar və bu bir tərəfdən danışıqlar prosesinə müsbət bir təkan olacaq və digər tərəfdən də problem həllini tapandan sonra biz daha tez öz münasibətlərini qurub və bir torpaqda əvvəlcədən yaşadığımız dövrə nəzər salsaq, eyni vəziyyətdə də biz yaşayışımızı davam edib təmin edə bilərik. Təəssüf olsun ki, Düğünə qədər də biz buradan yenə də bir müsbət mesaj eşitdirik. Amma bugünkü gündən istifadə edib, mən Avropa Parlamentinin deputatlarından, bu zalda əyləşən hər bir vətəndaşlardan xahişim və müraciətim bundan ibarətdir ki, biz sülhə nail olmaqdan ötəri insanlar arasında, ermənilərlə Azərbaycanlılar arasında münasibətlərin bərpa etməsindən ötəri sizlərin də dəstəyinizə böyük ehtiyacımız var və düşünürük ki, Cənubi Qafqaz regionunda böyük problemi aradan qaldırmaqdan ötəri biz hər birimiz öz töhfəmizi verə bilərik və xüsusilə də Avropa Parlamentinin deputatları öz nüfuzlarından istifadə edib, öz əlaqələrindən istifadə edib, bizə bu yolda yardımcı ola bilərlər və bizim Ermənistan-Azərbaycan sülh platformasının sıraları nə qədər genişlənsə, bir o qədər tez biz problemin həllində birgə həm Ermənistan xalqı üçün, həm Azərbaycan xalqı üçün, həm bu günləri Damas xəttində Ermənistan əskərinin, Azərbaycan əskərinin ölümünün qabağını ala bilər. Ona görə də mənim bugünkü bu müraciətimi sizin hər birinizdən xahiş ediləm, ciddi qəbul edəsiniz və biz bundan sonra da bu istiqamətdə öz fəaliyyətimizi birləşdirək. Diqqətinizə görə çox sağ olun.
Thank you, Roshan Chokthong. I'm not going to turn to Dennis. You are aware of the time, and I'm sorry about that, Dennis. So 5-7 minutes, then we have a few questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda. I'm delighted that after many months of preparation, we were able to have this event this morning here in the European Parliament to focus on Azerbaijan's relations with the European Union. And I want to take up 1 or 2 points that have already been mentioned and try to develop them a little bit further. The first is the challenge that the European Union countries and the citizens of the European Union have when engaging with Azerbaijan, for the simple reason that this is a very complex country in a very complex environment. It is therefore not a situation that lends itself to simple analysis or to simple solutions. Those who are looking for those things, I can tell you, as somebody who has been interested in Azerbaijan for nearly 2 decades, there are no simple solutions and there are no simple analysis. This is why we need to engage with Azerbaijan with an open mind and also in a spirit of dialogue, because it is important that we listen as much as we say. And perhaps one of the weaknesses of the European Union, not only with regards to Azerbaijan, but with regards to many other places, is that it started talking too early and too much before listening enough. So I hope that we will not make this mistake with Azerbaijan going forward. The European Union started late with Azerbaijan. The delegation in Baku opened, I think, in 2005, years after the delegation to Georgia was opened, for example. And these things matter. And when we look today about some of the problems that we have been discussing this morning, well, if the European Union was there early enough, as we were in Georgia, perhaps we could have done more and differently. And at a moment when it was possibly easier to do more and differently. And I'm saying this because, we also need from our side to take certain cognizance of our own actions as we have dealt with this country in the past. I think the new agreement that is being proposed for discussion offers a very good opportunity for the discussion between the European Union and Azerbaijan to be taken forward to a higher level, to a different level, but to a better level too. It's not a question of level in terms of, who is talking, it's in terms of the substance. And the key to this is going to be process of engagement. We need to engage, and engage at different levels, at the political level, at the level of civil society, at the level of the media, and at all aspects of society. The issue of where we are with regards to governance issues and human rights and the problems that this cause in the relationship have been mentioned already, as has been the case of Mehman Huseynov, and I want to mention him because he happens to be actually a very good friend of mine, and it distresses me to think that while we're talking here about his country, he's sitting in a jail. And I say this because people also in Azerbaijan, including our colleagues from parliament, who I've had the honor to work with for many years on different issues, need to understand that this is not, when we raise these issues, we are not in order to harm the country or in order to score political points. It's because, there are people in Europe who are genuinely interested in these issues and genuinely would like to see a better situation evolve. And I'm glad that we were able to discuss these issues very seriously and very openly today. And we need to keep this openness. It's useless to try to hide it and avoid the issues. We need to discuss the issues, air them out, and try to find solutions. We need to be realistic. One of the worst mistakes that people who criticize the Azerbaijani government do is that they have a false sense of proportion. So we are sometimes given a picture that is not real. And it's not the first time this happens. I remember when I was dealing with Georgia in the 1990s, I used to meet Saakashvili, and he used to say, after he left Shevardnadze's party, that Shevardnadze is a dictator. Shevardnadze was not a dictator. Georgia was a dysfunctional state. It was not a dictatorship. It was a laissez-faire government rather than a dictatorship. So we have to be careful when we stick labels to countries, because if we analyze the situation wrongly, we are going to give the wrong response and the wrong solution to what's happening. I don't think Azerbaijan is a dictatorship either. I think there are authoritarian streaks in Azerbaijan, and this is worrying. I think there is a dysfunctional element within the government, and this is worrying. But we need to understand what the situation is in order that we are able to respond to it efficiently and effectively. One of the biggest problems is the issues of checks and balances. And this is where I think European Union engagement going forward with the new agreement can be extremely helpful. Because if we are able to provide support, and if we are able to provide experience from our own mistakes, by the way, on issues related to the judiciary, to other aspects of the rule of law, these can be very practical things that can have very practical effects. So my appeal to people is, let us try to get a good understanding in order that we can come up with some effective responses and timely responses. It's very important that they are timely to things as they happen and to problems as they arise. And the second point, I'm sorry if you're looking at me in a rather strict way to complete my speech, but I want to say something about Nagorno-Karabakh, because my colleague Roshan Muzaev based on very important points. I think the official position of the European Union with regards to Nagorno-Karabakh has been stated already by a number of people in this room, and this is useful that our Azerbaijani colleagues are able to hear this, so that there are no misunderstandings, and I think the position of the EU is fairly clear. But apart from that, there are then ways of how do we put this into practice. How does the EU engage with the issue and practice? How can the European Union contribute to the resolution of the Nagorno-Karabakh problem in reality? Now, we can issue a statement. In the same way, we can issue a statement of human rights. But again, the statement on its own is not going to solve any problem. And it is much more useful if the European Union is able to engage on the Nagorno-Karabakh problem in a more practical manner. And this is what I would like to appeal to my Azerbaijani colleagues. See the European Union as an opportunity because of its experience of working on these issues, because of the fact that it keeps a line of communication with both sides in the conflict. The European Union is an opportunity to take forward some of the issues that perhaps are not possible to take forward within the current structure of the Minsk process, and to develop them into practical, useful things that can help the resolution of the conflict. There are some small attempts at this, and there are some positive responses to those attempts also on the Azerbaijani side. So I'm not saying that nothing is happening. We have an EUSR, who's a very dedicated person and engages with the issue very regularly. We have some NGO framework, the EPNK framework, that provides some space for cooperation. And the Azerbaijani government engages in different ways with these frameworks. But we need to do more with this, and there is space to do more. And I would like to encourage our colleagues to make use of these tools. My colleague Vovshan also mentioned the new initiative of the Baku platform. I met these people in Baku thanks to Vovshan the last time I was there in January. It was a frank, useful, open meeting. Subsequent to that, I also saw some of the statements that they published, which I think were very useful. They were saying some things that I can very easily say myself, so I was impressed by that, I have to be honest. We still have to know what this platform is going to be, how it's going to develop, and we should keep an open mind about it. We, again, speaking of our civil society, we need to engage with this platform, talk to them, learn what they're about, what they want to achieve, and if there are ways in which we can work together constructively, and if this can be something useful to help solve the conflict, then we should do it. Azerbaijan is a country which has a majority youth population. Most people in Azerbaijan are under 30 years old. This youth population is extremely dynamic. There is a new generation with new ideas, new visions coming through. So the country is changing. It's changing as we speak. Whether we like it, whether the government of Azerbaijan likes it, it's changing. Simply, demography is making the change, and the new generation is coming up with very interesting, sometimes challenging ideas and visions. But this is, again, let's see this as an opportunity. Let's not see this as a problem. Let's not go into this, some of the things that sometimes hear about all the young Muslim populations and the problems that they have. Let's look at it positively. Azerbaijan is a tolerant country that has shown very little signs of religious extremism. I believe in the young population of Azerbaijan. I have dealings with many people in different contexts over the years, and I think this is a very solid basis on which we can build a relationship between the EU and Azerbaijan that is good for both sides, but is also extremely good and extremely important for the people of Azerbaijan in general.
Thank you, Dennis. Unfortunately, the European Parliament has very strict time regulations, and we're going to get kicked out of this room in around 10 minutes. So I need to ask my colleagues here to make their final closing comments. So I'll give you all the chance to speak one last time.
Thank you for the chance. I believe that going back to the NGOs and their role in EU-Azerbaijan cooperation is the essential part. So EU-Azerbaijan cooperation without NGOs is impossible. Without civil society, it's not possible. So whatever there is if there is a need for if there is a vision for the increase of the EU-Azerbaijan relations, the civil society role in Azerbaijan and that's capabilities of interacting to the European Union institutions and also to the Azerbaijan government institutions should be taken very seriously. And moving from this point, we can do a lot. And I believe that in civil society and NGOs in Azerbaijan, well, again, despite what happened, the reports about the NGOs in Azerbaijan for the last couple of years, we were able to function and we were able to bring EU and Azerbaijan closer into NGOs and civil society in Azerbaijan, and we can continue to do that work. And I think that that's going to what, and we're happy that after a couple of years, EU and Azerbaijan seems to be dedicated to improve their relations, and we are ready to be part of these big endeavors. Thank you.
Roshan, would you like to make a final comment? I'll come back to you in the end for... No? Okay, Matt, one final comment? Or?
Sure. I think your peace platform, Mr. Nurzayed, is one of the more hopeful things I've heard of in recent years. And I just wanted to elaborate for a moment on tolerance and talk about the difficulty of getting both sides' populations to be tolerant. Yes, as Dennis was just saying, there is a young, new population. 50% of Azerbaijan's population is under 30. But those people don't have the experience of living together with Armenians. That's something that's quite painful and difficult to overcome. And hatreds and negative attitudes have grown ingrained, in my experience, ironically more in the younger generation than in the older generation, like my generation. So that's a challenge. That means we have to work with NGOs, as we've just heard. Very last comment on tolerance. I was quite close to the Orthodox Jewish community and leader in Baku, and I remember one time the rabbi said, I was asked him about anti-Semitism in Azerbaijan, and he actually said, sometimes I think there's not enough because people are so friendly to our community that it's difficult to build a sense of community. And we don't have enough connectivity. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Amanda, please, go. Injured members, Mr. Zaid. I would like to back to the discussion we start, and I would like thanks to Think Tank, Amanda, and Denis for this fantastic event. It was very useful to exchange and share the best practice in this issue. I'm sure there are some new ideas which can be implemented in near future. The sum of ideas is for need some time, need some efforts from both sides. But this is the process. This is the process we'll addressing for the future generation mostly. I agree with you that the new generation in Azerbaijan think differently in many things, but the strategy is the same. And discussion proved again that Azerbaijan has a political willingness to improve the relation with the EU in several fields. I hope that we will achieve to realize our common goals in the nearest future and strengthen this relation further. I would like to back again to the very important issue. This is the illegal visit of members of the European Parliament to occupied territories. It's damaged not only relation with EU, but it's damaged also the image of the EU in Azerbaijan. Regardless of our several requests and letters, this unacceptable tradition does not cease. And I ask my European friends to take into account that this is the very harmless situation for us, and we will continue to persuade and to urge the member of the parliament to be more responsible in the issue in where they don't have the precise information. Just one comment on the matter saying that about the religious situation in Azerbaijan, but I also would like to inform that Azerbaijan share different religions and ethnic groups, and they live peacefully, and we can encourage dialogue with wider Muslim world, which is now a very discussion situation in the region. And I believe that this perspective relation with Azerbaijan will pave the way for the EU's commitment with the neighbors policy. Thank you very much, and I would like to wish all you the best, and I believe that such kind of discussion, roundtables, changing of opinions is very important for the future of Azerbaijan and the EU.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm very sorry, sir, but we need to close the meeting. If you have a question, I would advise you to ask it bilaterally at the end. As I said, there's very tight time constraints. So I'd like to thank everybody for coming. Thank you to our guests. EPC and LINS will continue to follow developments between Azerbaijan and the EU, as well as the South Caucasus more broadly. So I wish all of you a good afternoon, and thank you very much for coming. Goodbye.
Well, you are dealing with the dictators. And what kind of democracy and what kind of European Union is this? You know that 200 political prisoners are in the prison in Azerbaijan. My 2 years old child was in prison 2 weeks ago because of this dictator. Do you know that? And you are dealing with these dictators. You are just hypocrites all. 2 years old child was in prison in Azerbaijan and taken as a hostage. You know that? And you are dealing with this. My child was taken to hostage because of this government in Azerbaijan. And you are making deals here. And you don't want to see this? Hypocrites you are. All hypocrites. You can't do this to people. Playing the games with the kids. What kind of democracy is this? Even I can't ask anything. And with dictators you are dealing. Dealing.
Qarabağ kartını oynasın Azerbaycan hökuməti Avropa Parlamentində.
Each meeting they are putting on Karabağ. Karabağ is our problem. But what the Azerbaijani government does these last 25 years to solve the problem in Karabağ? What kind of steps they have done? And you are still making money with these dictators. Selling these people, 8 million people of Azerbaijan. Thank you very much for your democracy.